Hey, I'm so glad you joined me today. Why don't you get comfortable as Alex and I show you how to decorate Christmas trees using cupcakes. Let's do it. I just want to make you aware I am not a cake decorator at all. So Alex is going to teach me actually how to do this, and she's going to make it simple. So if you're not a cake decorator, you've not done much with icing, you can learn today just how easy this is. So we're putting on our little gloves so our fingers don't get all sticky and gooey, because y'all know me, I do not like gooey fingers. So Alex is going to begin by telling us what we actually do with our cupcakes to get the little cake shape.
We're going to take 2 cupcakes. One of them, and they're both full-size cupcakes, but usually you'll end up with some bigger than the other. So we're going to take one of the bigger ones, and we're just going to trim off the rounded top using a serrated knife.
Now, do I get to eat that top?
Not yet. Although the tops are really tasty, you want to hold off on eating them for now because they do come in handy when you're decorating them later. And we're going to do the same thing, cutting off the top for the smaller of the 2 cupcakes. Okay. And I'll put that cake scrap aside as well. So we're going to take the bigger of the 2 cupcakes and we're going to turn it upside down. And we'll just put a little dollop of frosting on the back side of the cupcake. And we're going to take the second cupcake, turn that upside down, and put that on top.
So that's kind of like the glue holding it together.
Yeah, and especially once this goes in the fridge, this should be a lot more solid and glued together. Now, I'm going to take a little bit more glue, and we're going to start to take those cake humps, and we're going to put those on the top first. I'm going to trim a little bit off of the edge of the first one, the bigger one, just so that it doesn't hang over too far. And we'll put a little bit more frosting on the top of this one. And then the final cupcake hump can go on top. And that way you have a Christmas tree shape.
How cute!
Now this can go in the fridge for about a half an hour, the freezer for 10 to 15 minutes, just so the icing can solidify. And that way it won't be as wobbly when you go to pipe. So this is just a disposable piping bag. What you don't want to do is you don't want to just open it up and just start shoving frosting inside, because then you're going to get frosting all inside the top bit, and that's going to make it really messy. It will squeeze out the top. It will make your bag greasy on the outside. So what you want to do is you want to fold down the top so that it's almost like a cuff, and that way when you put the icing in, it doesn't get above where where it's supposed to go.
That's smart.
If you are by yourself and you don't have somebody to hold the bag for you, then you can use a glass and put your bag down in and fold it over the top, and that way the glass will hold up the bag for you while you fill it.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So before we even do that, we're gonna get the bag ready. This is a coupler, and basically what it's gonna allow us to do is to change out our tips if we want to without having to switch bags altogether. So we're gonna put the this part of the coupler down in the bag. And we'll gauge where it goes. We'll scoot it back up a little bit, and then we will cut it. It's better to cut off. Yeah, that should be fine. It's better to cut off a little bit too little than to cut up a little bit too much, because you can always trim more off, but you can't add it back on once you trimmed it off. Then, once it's in the bag, you can add your tip over top, and then you will take the cuff that comes with the coupler, and it will screw onto the coupler, even through the icing bag. That way, it's on securely, and if you need to switch out tips, you can just unscrew the cuff, put a different tip on, and screw the cuff back on without changing bags.
So this is what these look like.
Yep, and you should be able to find them even just in your local craft store or in like the cake decorating aisle of a Walmart. I've found them before, so.
That's where I got these.
Yeah.
And we're using number 18.
Yeah.
The tip is number 18. A friend recommended I use 17. Walmart was out of 17, so we just went up one with 18.
Yeah, and these are from Wilton. Okay. And now you can see, having the bag in the glass, you're just able to wipe off your spatula on the edge of the glass, and you're not getting icing all over the top part of the bag.
You are so brilliant. I love this.
And just try and shove it back down into the bag a little bit so that it doesn't overflow. But once you turn this upright, it should still be fine because there's so much extra folded down over the glass. Now, you'll just take your glass, fold back up your tip. You can even give it a little bit of a shimmy. And you'll just hold the bag together and just use your hand almost like a squeegee. If you have trouble holding it, I've seen people put it down on the counter and literally use their hand to kind of scooch it up, but we'll let gravity help us with this one today. Until it's all the way down in the tip, and then you'll twist the top of the bag, and you can even wrap it around your finger to keep it twisted, and that will help to make sure that it doesn't come right back out the top as you're squeezing it. You don't want to just grab it in the middle and squeeze it, because then everything above your hand will just come right back out the top. Okay, so starting at the bottom, I'm just going to squeeze a little bit out here and down the side of the cupcake like this. So we're just drawing tiny lines basically with the piping tip. Make sure that you keep your pressure pretty consistent. You don't want to squeeze any harder at the top really, and you can just kind of let up with the pressure as you drag the bag down. If you have any gaps, you can just squeeze a little bit to fill those up. We're going to start above, and we're basically going to do another row of the exact same thing. And as you pipe, the warmth of your hands will help the frosting to pipe more easily too. So it's better to start a little bit stiffer if you can still pipe, and then let your hands soften it as you work.
Oh, it's so cute. See if I can pick this up and not mess it up. Oh, I love it.
And then you can kind of go back over, and if you spot any gaps, you can just fill those in just by poking a little bit. But you are going to put ornaments on, so don't worry too much about gaps.
Even the Ginger Optimist can do this. So the ornaments, we have these little sprinkles. I got these in the cake decorating section at Walmart as well.
Okay, so that I don't get my fingers in the frosting that I just piped and mess it up, I'm basically just taking a toothpick, taking a little bit of extra icing on the end, and using that to stick my toothpick to the sprinkle, and then put the sprinkle on the cupcake. For the M&Ms, they're big enough that you can kind of stick them down on their side first, and then flatten them down so that you don't get your finger in them.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And for all that we did put some of these sprinkles on, I recommend you start with the bigger ornaments to make sure that you have your spacing good, and then you can use these little sprinkles and kind of fill in the gaps around.
And here is our beautiful Christmas tree. Alex, you did such a wonderful job.
Thank you.
What a fun project you could do with your children, grandchildren, or whoever. just to make table decorations for Christmas. I think it's pretty cool.
They look the best with the piping tip, but if you wanted to do this with kids or what have you, you can kind of just like spread the icing over and then kind of smack it with your knife to make it kind of pokey. It wouldn't look quite as nice as the piping tips, but it'd be more kid-friendly that way.
Aw, that's a great tip. Thanks. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. And if you're not following me already, I hope you will. Have a great rest of your day, my friend, and we'll see you on the next video. God bless. Bye.